Hi, my name's Chris and I'm the training manager here at the Nav People, and I'm going to be taking you through some more, slightly more advanced stuff to do with jet reports today. If you haven't already, I would strongly advise you watch the previous video, which we did a little while ago, but it will teach you the basics of jet reports, some of the stuff I'm not going to be covering in today's session. With today, we're also going to just be focusing mainly on a profit and loss or an income statement report based out of data coming out of a Business Central database. So, hope you enjoy the video. So this is the latest version of Jet Reports. They've updated a few of the buttons and it looks a bit different. So let me just give you a quick introduction to some of the slight changes that they've made. First thing is that there is no longer a design, refresh and report button. We only get a design button, and this tells us what mode we're currently in. Once we run a jet report, and you'll see later, the button will change and it will basically say, well, if I want to go back to design mode. So it's just a slightly different way of doing the same thing. Report and refresh have changed slightly, so they've actually combined the buttons. So we've got a little drop down menu here. And instead of refresh, it's called run. So we run the report. When you run a report, this will actually go to Nav and pick up all the latest information from Business Central. The next one down where it says run from cache, basically we use this mainly when we're designing reports or in the process of designing them. We don't necessarily need the up to the second information, but we just want to kind of see what the report's going to look like. It basically means that it's going to grab all the data it had from memory as opposed to going to BC to get it. And then we've got the last option, which is run in background, which is new in the latest version of Jet, which we're pretty excited about, because basically what it allows our viewers or our users to be able to do is to be able to run a report in the background. So you don't see the Jet report running at all. It sits in the background and does its thing. It obviously takes a little bit longer for it to run, but once it's finished, you basically get a lovely little notification in the bottom right-hand corner just to say, oh, this Jet report's finished, it's run, do you want to open it? And it's really nice for you to be able to continue to work and do other bits and pieces while that Jet report is running in the background. We've got our drill down button like we had before, and again, once you run the report, you can see the arrows next to the cell if you want to select a cell and then hit the drill down. That's from there. They've moved this button. This used to be called debug, but now they've referred to it as check error. It used to be next to scheduler and stuff like that. This button, again, does exactly the same thing, but it basically just displays an error message for a specific cell within your report, so you can start sort of trying to troubleshoot various different areas or error messages that come up. And then we've got our design tools. Okay, so first thing, our Jet Function Wizard here. We still have our 4 separate categories, but they're combined together into this into one button. So sort of a combination of the two main sort of versions of the ribbon that Jet reports have had. But this one's really nice because as you go through your reports later, once you've built one, the button will actually change to whatever function is already in there. So if there's an NF function in a cell, the button will change to being an NF, or an NL, or an MP, or a GL. We've got all our usual design tools that we've seen before. I suppose the only real difference when it comes to the distribution of this version is that we've got an upload button. You can upload it to the Jet Hub, where you can basically store all the reports that you want your viewers to be able to run. Again, we've got a scheduler, so you can schedule your Jet reports and stuff like that to happen at specific times. It'll even enable batch processing as well, which is very useful. And then we've got all of our settings. So again, I've got a list of data sources. So these are our databases that we're connecting to. A list of companies that are inside our BC database. And then I've got settings. These are split into two separate categories where I've got my application settings, which controls the settings of this installation, as well as my data source settings, so I can change the settings of how this installation of Jet is connecting to whichever data source it is. There is also a help function and stuff like that as well, so you can go to the help center. There's quite a lot of useful information on the Jet Reports website. So, today we're going to be concentrating on a profit and loss report or an income statement. And basically what we do is we're just going to build this from scratch, and as we go through, I'm just going to sort of talk you through some of the principles around why we're doing it. Most of the more basic principles and stuff like that have already been covered in the previous video. So we're going to start off by using the report wizard, because I always start with a report wizard. And there is a really big reason why I always start with the report wizard. And that's mainly because when you build the report, it puts everything in the same sort of places, which means that when it comes for you to maintain your Jet reports in the future, or if you need to make a change to them, or there's an error message coming through and stuff like that, is that because they've all been built in the same way, it will make it easier for you to maintain. So we're going to base it based on our GL accounts going down the page and our accounting periods going across the page. So using the report wizard, I'm going to basically select the GL account table here and then press next. What fields do we want? Well, I'm definitely wanting the GL account numbers to appear. The name will also go for the net change at the end as well. Just like in the previous video, you can change the order if you want to by clicking and dragging these around, so I can change the order of them. But in this case, it's just those three fields. Next, do I want to change the grouping of it? No, not in this instance. Do I want to change the sorting? Definitely not. You definitely want to keep it in the order of your GL account numbers. Total net change? Yeah, having a total of net change at the bottom would be quite nice, so we can see our total net change for every accounting period. Press next. Apply some filters. Now, we are going to need to apply some filters to this report, and the first filter that we're going to apply is to our income/balance field. So this is the field where it stores if our GL account is part of the income statement or the balance sheet. So the income statement is the ones that we want, because that is actually our profit and loss. I'm going to untick the set a report runtime because I don't want the viewer to change that. But I will add a filter on account type, because I want to create a report that's quite or reasonably flexible for our viewers when they're running the report, and I want them to basically be able to select what account type they want to run it for. So basically it means that if they select the posting account, they're going to get a lot of lines going down the page, but they're going to get a greater amount of detail and breakdown of the areas within their charts of accounts. Whereas they can also then select the end total if they just want a more high level kind of overview of the area of the income statement. Next again, add some basic Excel formatting to the report and press finished. So very quickly, if I quickly run this report, here's my options that it asks for. So here I can change my the account type to end total or posting, depending on what we want. But in this case, we'll stick to end total because it'll give you the least amount of data.